Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donahue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donahue and my cohort in creepitude for now our 11th season is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend. Happy season 11 kickoff.
Right? Who knew it? Who knew we would get this far? Woo! So if you're new to the show, we talk about creeps from the past to the present, and we always like to lead the first episode of a season with either a trio or a quadruple group of creeps, or we just pick a theme or something.
A trilogy.
A trilogy of creeps. It's like the Hunger Games, but with creeps. And we're decided to talk about three dudes that just have been in the news lately, and maybe each of them could be their own episode one day. They're still their stories are still a little young in the media, so we need to let them germinate a little bit. But we like to talk about them because they're fucking creeps. And
fuck these guys.
Fuck them.
Oh, we swear.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
We swear on the show. If you don't like dirty language, you should listen to a different podcast.
We do use salty language on this show, Joe. You've been warned. Please don't nag us about it. Also, we do have some trigger warnings I want to get through really quickly for this one. Trigger warnings for violence, sexual assault, grooming by a predator, workplace violence, and child exploitation. Yeah, these guys are real fucking assholes.
Tough one.
Yes. I want to thank you people that have joined our Patreon page where we put out bonus episodes. Where we put out bonus episodes and have bonus content. I want to say hello to Robin, Michelle, and Kaz for joining our Patreon page. Welcome. Also, we are on Twitter at CreepPod because somebody had What a Creep on Twitter for 10 years and never used it.
Creep.
You can find us on Instagram at What a Creep Podcast. And I want to thank the lovely people that have been leaving us 5-star reviews, especially Yo-Yo Lover. Left us a 5-star review at iTunes. Thank you so much. It keeps us, good standing in iTunes. It also helps us find more people and our people. So thank you for taking the time to do that.
Was it Yo-Yo Lover or Yo-Yo Lava?
You know what? I wrote
It's probably Lover.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Lover. I just like to say Lava.
Oh, God. Was that from Sex and the City?
I don't remember, but I do remember it from SNL with Will Ferrell and Rachel Dratch and she's my lover.
That's a better reference. We also have a basic old-timey email. If you want to shoot us an email, it's whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. Just spell that all out. We have stickers. We'd love to drop them in the mail for you. I have a whole bunch I'm going to send out this weekend. But I also did send some out a couple of weeks ago, so please let me know that you got them. Either just go to the Facebook group. We have a private Facebook group I forgot to mention. You have to ask to join, and then we'll bring you on in. And it's What a Creep Podcast group. And we just get really salty there, and we just talk about creeps, and we keep it a really nice space to hang out.
It is the best group on Facebook.
It's the only one Sonia will pay attention to.
This is 100% true. It's the only reason I go on Facebook is to go to our group because it's the best.
It is indeed. And Sonia, do you want to talk to them a little bit about our website?
Yes, it's at whatacreeppodcast.com, and you can find everything you ever wanted to know about our podcast, but were afraid to ask. It's got links to all of our episodes and our merch shop. So if you want some t-shirts or masks, we have masks, journals, tote bags, whatever you want, you can get it all through Threadless. And you could also just go to threadless.com and type in What a Creep Podcast, and it'll come up that way too. And the shirts are very comfortable. I testify.
Preach.
I
love the tote bags. I take that with me all over Brooklyn.
I have the tote bag too, and I love it. I use it all the time, and I have a shirt, and my son has a shirt, and he loves it. His Mommy and Margot shirt. Aww. It's one of his faves.
All right. So are we ready to talk about our creeps today?
Yeah, let's talk about these creeps.
Okay. A trilogy of creeps. Our news sources are, let me just read these really quick because we always have our sources included in the show notes. Vanity Fair, The Cut, 2 articles from Slate magazine that destroyed me, frankly. New York Times, Chicago Tribune, People magazine. We do love our People magazine here.
Love.
Vice magazine, Hollywood Reporter, Vulture, and NBC News. So we're going to be talking about first, I guess we're going to go in alphabetical order, Blake Bailey.
Yeah.
He is an author. He wrote about Philip Roth, who's some people really enjoy. I've never been a fan of his work. He's not my jam. He's not my jam. It's okay. You know, he's a creep to women for sure. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's ever raped anybody. I don't think he's done that.
Oh, the bar is so low.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Blake Bailey is his biographer. He's been a biographer for a few different people. Cheever, I saw that one. Also Yeats, the poet Yeats. He also was a middle school teacher in New Orleans. I think it was a magnet school. And this was about 20 years ago. And since his publication for this Philip Roth book came out, turns out there's many women that have come forward with sexual assault allegations against him. And what's happened, and this is the controversial thing, is W.W. Norton, who was his publisher, they put out 50,000 books for the initial printing. They have stopped printing the book. And it was already on the New York Times bestsellers list. He had a big schedule. He had a huge glossy story in New York Magazine that didn't question anything about him. Now, there was a woman who said she was raped by him, and she had sent an email to the editor-in-chief at Norton. And I always want to say, Norton! That's Norton! Honeymooners. Oh, God.
We're old.
We're old, guys. We're not that well, I don't know. For me, that was
we're not honeymooners old,
but we know what they are.
Yeah.
I think of them more of actually Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo. Eddie Murphy had like the honeymooners rap, or was that Joe Piscopo had the honeymooners rap?
I don't remember which one had.
Norton. This was the 80s, guys. That was very rebellious for the time. Anyway, this guy is a fucking monster. I mentioned there was 2 articles in Slate magazine where one of them was a woman, Eve Crawford Payton, a wonderful writer who talks about how he raped her in June of 2003. This was 20 years after she was his student. And he told her, I've wanted you since I met you. And she was 12 when she met him.
So fucked up.
It's incredibly fucked up. And so there's all this cancel culture. You and I talk about, is there really a cancel culture going on here? Is it more consequences culture? Like, how do you feel about them no longer publishing the book?
I'm fine with that. I don't, as you know, I'm not a believer in cancel culture. I think it is consequence culture. We're holding people accountable for their actions. And yeah, I mean, the biography might be really good. It might be really interesting. It's not really about him. It's about Philip Roth. But at the same time, he's going to benefit from, he's going to get the money from this. And, you know, it's interesting when people talk about cancel culture because they're the same people that love to talk about letting the free market decide.
Yeah.
And this business has decided for themselves that this isn't someone they want to do business with.
Right.
And that's a totally legitimate thing. And it's not just a he said, she said situation. There are multiple. First of all, there shouldn't have to be multiple, but there are multiple allegations. Multiple students have come out and talked about the grooming that took place with him. There's also another woman. What's her name? I'm looking it up. Valentina Rice.
Yes.
Who was a publishing executive that was staying at a friend's house, and he was also staying there, and he went into her room at night and sexually assaulted her.
And that person was a New York Times writer, a book reviewer. The publishing world, really, it's very, very small.
Yes. And
she's the one that told Norton about what happened. And she told 2 friends what had happened. And they said, what do you want us to do? And she said, nothing. which happens quite a bit when it comes to trauma and assault. People just can retreat into themselves and be like, I don't want to deal with this right now. It's going to be a lot of slut shaming, or people are going to, I'm going to have my name in the news. It's going to be hard to prove. And they respected her wishes, which is what you should do.
Also, like you said, publishing is a small world, and you're like, this has already fucked me up. I don't need it to fuck up my career too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, times change, guys. That was only like 6 years ago.
Yes.
But it's before the Me Too movement. It's before these people have been toppling down. The thing that got to me was he had the kids write a journal, and then he read their journals. Yeah. And wrote in the margins.
And he would encourage them to be like super personal, and the grooming that took place, or the like telling the girls like there was a thing where he would refer to some of them as his special girls.
Oh my God.
And and he would tell them how like beautiful they're going to be, and all these things. He was grooming them for like what was, and I think one of them he actually was with when she was 17, which was the legal age in Louisiana. And she'll just, in one of the articles, she described it as, she's like, I guess it was like kind of like almost like it was kind of consensual, but not really. Like, she's like, he took their relationship from like mentor student to something romantic so fast that it was almost like she didn't know what was happening.
Right.
Is what she described. And that must be super crazy. And then there's some of them told stories about like trying to pretend that it wasn't rape so that they could not have to deal with like how horrible it was that what happened to them. Like, that's why they kept in touch with him. It was like, well, maybe I can turn it into something not horrifying.
That's another thing we've talked about before.
Yes.
Jian Ghomeshi is the one I'm thinking of. He was that entertainer in Canada.
Yes.
And there were girlfriends who kept in touch with him after he beat them. And it was them trying to control the narrative. And it was them trying. Also, some of them were trying to email him and stay in touch with him so that they could get him to admit what he did and then use that as evidence. But then people were saying, oh, you really liked him. You were into it. And it's okay to have a kink, and there's the BDSM thing that's that's a legitimate thing, but that's between consenting people. What are the odds that every single woman you go out with wants to be beaten up? What are the odds? What are the odds that they're okay with choking and hitting? It's yes.
No.
It's like, yeah, exactly. So the book has been, you could still buy the book. It's there. They're just, for now, they say they're not going to publish more copies. And I don't think it's all hardcover. There's no Kindle, nothing. I don't know if the audiobook has been repealed or not, but that's where we stand with it right now. And there's some people that are upset. And then when you look at Mr. Bailey's class, these links are in our show notes, the Slate stories. I mean, the one where all the students were just talking about how he would like promote guys to have crushes on other girls and then try to arrange for them to go out with each other. I mean, it was just, what a turd.
He's a total fucking creep.
Yeah.
It's gross. And he's also, he married.
Oh, that's
married
right.
at the time too.
Oh, how'd you like that one where the woman, she said to Norton, this man raped me, and he goes, please, I have a wife and a child who adore me and depend on me.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, sorry I raped you. Could you not tell on me because I'm married and I have a kid? Fuck off.
Yeah.
He's a garbage person. He's a garbage person. I believe all of these women.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so are you ready for our next creep?
He's such a fucking creep too.
Oh.
Ah! Okay.
Josh Duggar, 33 years old. I can't believe he's that young. He has 6 kids already.
Jesus Christ.
He's a part of the family. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I have such dry throat today, too. It must be my allergies.
It must be. That's why you had the bloody nose.
That's why I got the bloody nose and everything. Okay. I don't know if this show is watched around the world or not. But we had a TLC show here in America called 19 Kids and Counting. And it's Jim Bob Duggar and his wife, Michelle. And they're with the Quiverful movement, which is all about the Christian patriarchy.
Yes.
These kids, they have as many kids as they can because they're creating little armies that'll outnumber heathens like Sonia and myself.
We're the worst.
We are the worst. They've been married for 30 years, I think, at this point. They have to be because Jim Bob is 33. So, like, let's say 35 years.
Yes.
19 kids. I'm going to read this out loud really quick. Jim Bob and Michelle. Then we have Joshua, Jana, John, Jill, Jessa, Ginger, Joseph, Josiah, Joy-Anna, Judadiah, Jeremiah, Jason, James, Justin, Jackson, Johanna, and Jennifer.
and you forgot little Jalopy. And no, that's not really one. You could just make some up, though. You could just throw in some other ones. That's Jeepers.
Yeah.
It's Jeepers, Jalopy.
Jeepers Creepers Duggar. But this is a family that they had this TLC show, and I actually watched one of the episodes where they went to Tokyo, and the kids were surprisingly like great with traveling. And it turns out, they go around the world trying to proselytize and get people to join their religion. And they go up to people and say, "Do you believe in God?" And so they'll go, "No." And they're like, "Oh," and freak the hell out. But Jim,
and then all 19 of them surround you and throw things at you until you say, "Fine, I believe in God. God, stop."
It's like a Shirley Jackson novel come to life.
Yes, exactly.
Josh is the oldest, and about, what was it, like 8 years ago? Was it longer than that? He admitted, younger than that, he admitted to his parents that when he was a teenager, he molested not only 2 of his sisters, but several of their friends. Mm-hmm. And the parents didn't know what to do because they don't trust the law.
Correct.
And they know they would get, arrested. It's child endangerment that's going on here. So they send him to another guy who did like a Christian day camp or work camp kind of thing.
It'll fix it. Totally fix it.
And that's what he did. So he went to this work camp, and then he comes back, and then they have this show, and he gets married very young, starts having kids very young right away. And then this story breaks out, what happened. And it's just the level, like the people that will twist themselves into just supporting these creeps is just...
Yes.
But turns out Josh wasn't done. Mm-hmm. And just a couple of weeks ago, the FBI raided his home near Little Rock, Arkansas, and they found pictures on his computer of children being sexually abused. And there were so many, the person that read the charges says, "This is one of the worst I've seen."
That is fucked up.
Yeah. And his wife is pregnant with their 6th kid.
Yeah.
7th.
When someone in law enforcement says, "This is the worst I've seen,"
it's pretty bad.
They've seen some shit.
Yeah. So he's out on bail right now.
Of course he is.
Because he's white. And he's not living with his wife. He has to live with a third-party person, another, I guess it's friends of the family.
Yeah.
But he can see his kids as long as it's supervised with his wife. And his trial is going to be in July. And these people.
So he's staying with friends of the family when he was accused of molesting the 5 girls back in 2015, I think it was. He went to that like ranch or whatever, to his work camp or whatever the fuck it was. It was run by this guy named Bill Gothard. Did you read about this guy?
Yeah.
He's like a leading voice in the Christian homeschool movement. Turns out he also has engaged in like this crazy, like he's got a whole bunch of sexual harassment and sexual abuses charges against him too. Like, I hope the friends he's staying with now don't do that too, because it sounds like everybody in this group. Sorry, I don't want to lump everyone together, but
Right.
everybody in this group is fucked up.
Well, it's the quiverful movement, and it's also it's meant to keep women pregnant and not pursuing careers, not pursuing education. It's pursuing them to go out and be Christian missionaries. And a couple of them, Jessa, I can never remember their names, but it's like a couple of them,
Jalopy and
Jessa, went out and got married and have kids of their own now. And they don't subscribe to this behavior. They're still Christian, but they're not quiverful. But they still, one of them has a husband that likes to send nasty social media messages to, is her name Jazz? There was a transgender girl who has her own show on TLC. And he was just like, you're an abomination. I can't believe TLC. It's just, leave people alone, dude.
They're still gross.
Yeah.
They're still gross. It's just so fucked up that this dude who molested 5 girls, including some of his own sisters, and then now here we are, however many years later, and he's being arrested for child pornography. It's like, you don't say.
Yeah.
You don't. It's what the fuck.
Yeah.
That he's even like out walking around, and of course he's like out on bail, and what the fuck.
Yeah.
I have no love for the Duggars. I was telling you this before we started recording. Back when I wrote a celebrity gossip column, I wrote about Michelle Duggar. Well, about the whole clan, and I made, it was pretty gross. I admit it, pretty gross joke about her treating her uterus like a clown car, and that the kids just slide out of there. They just, like, childbirth is nothing. They just slide out. It's so easy for her to just give birth. That was pretty gross. I admit it. But boy, they have hardcore fans.
Yeah, they do.
And they came for me hard. And one of them like wrote a letter, and it was like, Sonia Mansfield, who's obviously had several abortions, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
I like, what? Is it obvious? Is it like obvious? It's so obvious. Maybe it's the shirt I wear that it says like, I've had several abortions. I haven't had several abortions, but also what the fuck? What a terrible thing to write about someone says some, but then again, I wrote that she treats her vagina like a clown car. So what do I know?
They do have their fans, and it was really
Absolutely.
hard. On Twitter, I was following the story the first time, and there were people saying things like, oh, Josh didn't do anything that a lot of boys don't do at that age. Oh yeah. And there's
a lot of boys his age molest their sisters, huh?
No,
that's a thing.
And it's one thing, like, it's kids showing other kids, like, here's my pee-pee, where's your vagina, or whatever. I mean, that's normal. That's just curiosity. But what he's doing is so much more messed up. And these girls have to live with this guy. Oh, my God. Yeah. Do you remember the TV movie Something About Amelia? It's Ted Danson. And I forget the girl who played Amelia. She had, like, an acting career for a while.
I'm going to
look her up. So it's about a girl that's being molested by her dad, who's Ted Danson. Like, which is great casting, because you're just like, well, I find him likable.
Yeah. It's Roxana Zale.
Zal.
What is she? Zal.
She's been in a few things.
Yeah. And then, Glenn Close is in it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll click on Roxana here. Let's see. River's Edge.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a really good movie.
That's a downer, but yeah.
Oh, it's a fucking downer. It's a huge bummer. Yeah. Oh, gosh. She did a ton of TV stuff.
Yeah. Well, she's playing a girl that's a teenager who's being molested by her dad. And then in the end of the movie, their whole thing is like, he's going to get some counseling. And so they're going to keep the family together. So it's all going to be okay. And when I remember thinking, I was a kid, and I'm like, so she's got to live with the creep?
No. What? I don't even remember that part.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah, because nobody wants to hate Ted Danson, I guess. At some point, they want to just give him a break.
So awful.
It's so terrible. It's such a bad message. But that's what these girls grew up with.
Yeah. Why do people feel the need to defend him? Just because it's like they pick their team and they just have to support their team no matter what. I don't understand. Can't we all agree that molesting someone is terrible? Apparently
it's
not.
Really bad. Yeah. It's pretty freaking bad. And it's this whole patriarchal system that keeps women down and keeps them obedient. Oh, yeah. There was talking about New Republic had an article, and there was these Patrick Henry College, some of these colleges I've never heard of, but and Bob Jones, remember Bob Jones University?
Yes.
They had a whole report about sexual assault and how victims of sexual abuse and assault wouldn't speak about it at the school because they would be treated like they did something wrong. It was victim shaming. And they had a consulting firm, Grace, Godly Response to Abuse in the Christian Environment. And there's lack of distinction between sexual abuse and consensual sexual sin. It's already just putting people, this world.
I don't understand. I don't understand his wife, and I don't want to.
Yeah, well, she's also in her own.
Yeah, like the fact that, and she's standing by him, but she is very into that religion, so maybe she feels she has to. But then to grant him unlimited contact with the kids as long as she's there.
Yes.
Like, the evidence is pretty overwhelming. They found it on his computer.
Right.
Like, it's not it's not even circumstantial. It's pretty concrete.
Right.
I would not want that person around my kids.
She was raised to be obedient.
Yeah. That's just fucking bananas to me.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll find out about that in the next few months when there's the trial. And lastly, we're just going to give an update about a creep. We'll probably do an episode on him one day, a full one, but it's Scott Rudin, who for 3 or 4 decades now has been known to be a very successful producer and also a total fucking lunatic.
Yes.
Who treats his staff like trash. Working for him is one of the toughest jobs you'll ever have. He's incredibly successful. He produced Moonstruck, The Social Network, No Country for Old Men, The Book of Mormon, To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway. He's done television. He's done theater. He's done movies. He has great taste. He's somebody that...
Yeah, I was going to say, your favorite thing was probably produced by Scott Rudin.
He has really good taste. And I knew people who worked for him, and we've all traded stories about shitty bosses and bad boss environments. And it was almost like a badge of honor in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, I was like, well, I survived Condé Nast and Dan Flores. Aren't I special? But it's a way of like reframing trauma. And you make yourself the victor. And he would abuse his assistant so badly. There was a movie called Swimming with Sharks, which stars creep Kevin Spacey.
Episode coming.
Yes.
Episode coming, everybody.
It is being planned as we're speaking. But so he would throw things at his assistant and all this stuff. I heard that there's one recently where he broke somebody's hand with a computer keyboard. He was so mad at them. I heard it was both hands, but whatever.
Jesus.
He has had to make so many payouts to people. He is such a mean person, vengeful person that, do you know who Audra McDonald is? She's a big Broadway star.
Yes.
She was in a musical and then she found out she was pregnant, and I think she was like 40, 41. It was an unexpected but delightful surprise kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he tried to sue her because she had to get out of the production due to the pregnancy, and he wanted a big payout because she just ruined it for him.
He's such a piece of shit.
Rita Wilson, she was in a Broadway show, and then she found out she had breast cancer, and he was upset when he heard that, when she told him, because, oh man, it's Tony Award season. We really want to get you out there. He doesn't care.
Guy. No, it's all about him and what he wants and what he needs.
Right.
And he is And I think we talked about this in a bonus episode. Like there are certain jobs that you are supposed to feel like you're just lucky to have it.
Right.
And you should put up with this kind of bullshit. Newspapers are the same, by the way. Like newspapers could be super toxic, and you put in your time and you put up with this abuse, and then eventually you get to abuse. Yay. And I think that's what happened to Scott Rudin. Like, there's talk that he had like a shitty boss back in the day, and now it's my turn to shine and be a shitty garbage person. And it just needs to stop.
Yeah.
It needs to stop. This is unacceptable behavior. Who acts like this?
Him.
Yeah.
And the problem is that people treat it as a legend. It's also, like you said, it's been normalized in show business that people are abused because it's a glamorous job. It's still work, you guys. Trust me. It's not that glamorous. Mm-hmm. But it was so known that Chris Rock visited his office to discuss a project with him. And when Chris Rock walked out and walked past all of the people in the office working there, he says, "Oh, I know. He beats the shit out of you. You don't have to hide from me." It's like, yo, you're so right. You're so hilarious, Chris. We get screamed at all the time. Yeah, he's disappointed.
What a disappointment.
I used to really like him, but wow.
Me too. I was disappointed when I heard that stuff. Also, if you go back and watch some of his old stand-up, it's pretty misogynist.
Yeah.
There's some funny stuff in there too, though, by the way.
He's one of the best stand-up comedians ever.
He is. And, the way he treated Louis C.K.
like he's a hero.
Is, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. That's another episode.
It is another episode. So what's going on right now is he released a state. And first of all, it was Hollywood Reporter that broke the story. People have written about him in the past, but they always kind of make him like the lovable rogue. Like, he's also really charming sometimes. Like, he's an ass kisser to famous people. You find them all over show business. This is not special. Like, it's so stupid. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. You can always find a famous person to talk about how charming he is because he doesn't abuse you. You're Tom Cruise.
Right. Or you're Meryl Streep. Or you're, Sharon Stone. Like, not everybody. Right. Anyway, there's nothing happening on Broadway now. New York is trying to go back to business, like, I think way too soon for me, my comfort. But anyway, this fall is what they're going to have. Broadway's going to be back in motion. He was putting together The Music Man, which stars Sutton Foster, who's amazing, great singer, and Jackman, thank you, sorry, who's also super talented.
Yes.
But there was radio silence for like a week. Nobody said anything. No movie studios, no famous people, no past directors that worked with him. Nobody came out and said this is terrible behavior. We need to change.
They just thought it would go away.
And that's when people on Broadway started protesting and saying, we don't want to work for this creep when we're back up in business. Like, we need more transparency about who we're working for, and we need better treatment for everybody. And so he's back. He says right now he's backing away from his projects. I think he's finally too toxic for Hollywood.
Right.
Maybe. But
he's gonna probably lay low.
Yeah.
For a little bit, and then
he's gonna get some therapy, Sonia.
Yeah. He's gonna go into rehab.
Yep. He's gonna go to a rehab.
He'll 100% go to rehab, and then he'll come out and he'll do like a little apology tour, and then it'll be business as usual.
Yeah. We can't let that happen, you guys.
Yeah. I mean, or maybe there's a road to recovery for Scott Rudin. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I'd like to think so. I hope he finally sees how terrible he was and how it wasn't okay. No matter what he was offering people. Like, it's not good. It's not okay. We can't keep up doing this shit.
Use your power for good, man.
Yep.
Come on. Be a good person, god damn it.
You shithead.
You shithead. You fucking dope.
All right, so that's our episode this week. Season 11, episode 1, a trio of current news creeps. Well done, Sonia.
Thank you. Well done, my friend.
Thank you. We'll be back next week with our regular episodes where we take turns talking about a creep, and then we are challenged to pick someone who's not a creep. We probably should have picked a not creep today. Anyway, whatever.
Oh, well, what's done is done.
What's done is done. The episode's recorded.
Yeah.
I'm already editing it in my head. Like, bye-bye. Okay. So new season is starting soon. Also, Sonia, tell them about Dorking Out.
Oh, yes. Over at Dorking Out, we are going to be talking about, we're going to talk about someone who's not a creep. We're going to talk about John Cryer because we are watching Hiding Out.
Which is the best movie.
I haven't seen it in a really, really, really long time, and I'm looking forward to this rewatch. We also, right now, our episode that's out is Sliver.
Yep.
And it is one of our funniest ones. It's so good. And it has Adam Risky from F This Movie. We had such a good time talking about Sliver. So please listen. And you can find it at dorkingoutshow.com. Where can people find you on the internet, Margot?
You could find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's for Twitter and Instagram. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com. And where can they find you?
You can find me at my blog, thesoniashow.com, and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok.
Woo!
We're there to ruin it for the kids and post videos of my dogs.
Everybody, please remember that we love it when you send us suggestions for creeps and non-creeps. You can reach out to us on social media. We also super love it when you use the Annie Potts gift from Ghostbusters. We got one. But anyway, we got one. But whatever way you want to reach us is totally fine. Creeps and non-creep suggestions. Or if you would like some stickers, we'll drop them in the mail for you. Thanks to everybody that joined the Patreon group. We're going to have a new episode coming up where I'm going to read Sonia some of my really crazy memos I got from my boss.
I can't wait.
At a big PR agency I might have mentioned during the show.
Oh,
so
I'm excited. It's going to be a fun one, as always. We have a cocktail. We really spill the tea.
So in the meantime, everybody, please keep practicing social distancing. Get your vaccination shots. Wash your hands. Be a decent human. Don't be a creep.
Creep!
Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.